Hey there, welcome back to Ink and Tome. So, one of the things that I said I wanted to talk about when I started this channel is my own writing and my writing process and that whole, amalgamation of things to talk about. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to start with it all, and I thought, why not begin with something that I feel like is a major part of writing any fantasy and science fiction, and that is world building. World building is core to any major fantasy or science fiction project. Any fantasy or science fiction project, period. And I've put a lot of thought into mine. The world that I write in has been a baby of mine since probably middle school. The first piece of it came to me, and I've slowly added to it over the years since. Not everything I will write will be part of that world. However, a large portion of it will. So I am starting the first of a series of videos I'm calling Realms of the Tapestry. It's a world building series from Ink and Tome as it's going to be something like that in the official title. But while I will dive into individual worlds within the tapestry as I go, my first video about it is going to focus on the tapestry as a whole, because my writing projects, many of them, are part of a single intertwined joint literary universe called Tapestry. That includes my novellas that are currently out, and interject Sunwolves and Rusted Axe, and then To Ride the Wind coming out in March. That is also part of the joint literary universe. I've always loved having the idea of having a joint universe. And so, obviously the Cosmere is out there now. It's kind of like the vanguard of joint literary universes. And so I just thought I would share about the world. The first bit that came to me in middle school was actually the major villain, who's the overarching point of the entire universe. And the idea around him has changed and evolved over time. And the name of the universe has changed and evolved over time to its current state. However, this individual is the first thing that came to me. So the initial book idea for this universe was called Deathbringer. It was going to be the first, probably in a 5-book series. It's still coming down the line, but now it's going to be the final chapter in the joint universe. Zal Deathbringer is his name. He is a bad person. He is essentially this force of destruction and death in the tapestry that is a direct antithesis to sort of the creator and his heralds, to put it as succinctly as I can. Where I kind of want to begin with a full explanation, the tapestry began through the creator. So there's a creator deity, and he's kind of just referenced to as the creator. I'll probably eventually create a name for him, but it's not where I am right now. In the beginning, there was the creator, and then the creator created the universe, or the tapestry, and he created his heralds. There are 5 heralds. There's the herald of law, the herald of time, the herald of light, the herald of life, and the herald of souls. After he created his heralds, he created the first world, Eden. You can kind of see where the inspiration came from, as well as the elder races, which include the Drakes, the Behemoths, the Watchers, and the Lustrous. And they populated Eden as a whole. So the Drakes are kind of draconic beings, so dragons, wyverns, they kind of play a big role in my March release coming out, To Ride the Wind. The other elder races will play their own parts in later series to come. But before the heralds, before creation, before Eden and the elder races, we had the creator, but also the darkness beyond. Darkness beyond is kind of how Zala's antithesis to the heralds. The darkness beyond is the antithesis to the creator. So as being that inhabits the darkness from before creation and wants to return everything to purity, which he believes is nothingness. He wants everything to go back to nothing. And so he's kind of behind the rise of this being the Deathbringer Zal, who's also known as the Devourer and the Trueborn of the Darkness Beyond, or the Firstborn, which, if you have read my Sunwolves books, you may have heard that in book 2. How it happened is there are the heralds, there's the first world, Eden, and the creator who still wants to create more worlds in the Tapestry. He steps away to continue creating because that he is a creative force given form, and he loves his creation. My motif for this creator is that he loves to create, and he constantly creates. He is a creative force. He has his heralds watch over his creation, and he has the elder races inhabiting Eden. The darkness beyond hates him, right? He wants everything to go back to darkness, nothingness. So he essentially, to put it in a short form, because one day I intend to expand all of this, probably in something similar to like the Silmarillion, a book that's literally universal history for the Tapestry. He corrupts the Herald of Life, who basically makes him think, why can't I create life on my own? Why can't I have my own creation? I watch over life and protect it. Why can't I, create life myself? And so the Herald of Light, which in turn created the Firstborn, Zal, who was a being of death and darkness, the corrupted opposites to life and light. The darkness beyond kind of empowers Zal to become his own herald. It introduces death and darkness into the creator's creation, into the Tapestry, when it wasn't there naturally before. So after that happens, it's this awful event, this terrible thing happens, but the other heralds see that life can be created through themselves, and they decide they want to get in on that action too, except, of course, for them it's consensual. The only herald to abstain completely is the Herald of Souls, who watches over this universe's afterlife. He kind of it decides, I don't need to partake in this. My purpose to watch over this higher realm, that's all I need, that's all I want. I don't need to create my own life. And so the others kind of intermingle more. That's how what's known as the second generation came about, which populated Tapestry with the great spirits, which all govern certain major aspects of the Tapestry. Some examples: Adir, the Maestro of Magic. He is he governs magic itself in the universe. There are also great spirits that are kind of just avatars of certain things. Like there's Akhtar the Wrath, who is literally wrath given form. There's Finleer the Fox, who is this being of illusions, but also helps to guide people who are lost. Finally, there came, as all this was going on, as Zal was empowered, the Darkness Beyond decided to push the Firstborn, Zal, into doing his will, and Eden itself was destroyed. In doing so, Zal also corrupted the Lustrous, one of the four elder races, and they became demonkind. And so when the creator came back and saw what had happened while he was gone, he saved the remaining uncorrupted elder races, destroyed Eden, stopping that corruption from there and then spreading on across Tapestry. He takes the remaining elder races, imprisons basically Zal in the Unmade Realm, or the Void, or the Fate. It has many different names throughout my books and worlds, along with demonkind, who on occasion can slip out with the help of outside forces, or some are small enough or not quite powerful enough, and to a point where they can kind of slip through the net, so to speak, through cracks in the walls of that realm. And so, because they betrayed the creator's plan, they were imprisoned. And then in the aftermath, the creator crafted new worlds for the elder races to settle. And kind of from that point on, he had been creating, but hadn't created more intelligent beings beyond the elder races and the heralds. So he decides, one, not to destroy the children of the heralds, the firstborn or the second generation. Instead, he decides never to concentrate all of his hope for creation in a single place. So he populates the tapestry with worlds upon worlds of living, breathing creatures, the different settings, so to speak, of my joint universe. Of course, this is an actual universe. So these are planets, these are galaxies that the planets inhabit, etc. So there's real space between them because I plan to do some science fantasy / science fiction stories down the line set in this joint universe as well. To explain, the great hope for the creator is that all life might choose to believe in him and combat the darkness and its corruption within the tapestry, and then when they pass on, one day join him in the highest realm, where all souls that are obedient to the creator's will for good, general goodness, they are watched over and protected by the Herald of Souls and can live in eternity of peace and happiness, while the darkness beyond and its greatest servant, the firstborn Zal, they desire to end all things so that the tapestry would return to truest darkness, which is like the pure state that darkness beyond believes in, which in turn the darkness beyond believes it would allow him to overthrow the creator and turn everything back to nothingness, and there would never be another created thing in existence, period. It at least believes it can achieve this. So over each world that the creator makes and sets life on, he also designates a pantheon of great spirits to guide its natural path, which is how these different worlds are then infused with different magic systems. Beings born under the influence of these great spirits that watch over the different worlds, their pantheons, are then naturally guided to align with those great spirits. So in the Sun Wolves, there are direct fonts who can inhabit the powers of their world's pantheon. And it's kind of like a holy thing with similar powers, but because of certain things that happen, I'm not going to talk about, that are explained as the series goes on, world building elements that could spoil story stuff. So that's why I'm not talking about them. That world's locked in a certain way, and that's why the people who inhabit it can access power the way that they do. Magic is, I guess, this isn't necessarily a spoiler. There are people in that world who are able to use magic as wizards and sorcerers because the maestro of magic is one of the beings that are part of the pantheon of that world. As I mentioned them before, one of the first or the second generation. There are a lot of humans, but there are other races we have met. There are the Ath and the Arn, who are seen and mentioned in the first Sun Wolves book. There are the Venari, which you've not met in any of my stuff yet. They will come. There's some like classic races as well, because who doesn't love the classics? I have a dwarf in my second Sun Wolves book. My new book coming out in March, To Ride the Wind. They are overseen by one of the elder races, the Drakes. And so their magic system is directly tied to these beings because they are basically of the same power level as like the second generation. That also then ties that world's path to the physical reality of the elder race inhabiting it, whereas the second generation are ethereal beings. They don't have physical form in that sense. They can take physical form if they choose to, but they're not tied to a physical form like the elder races are. And that physicality of the elder races ties directly into the events of the plot of To Ride the Wind in the series, The Cycle of Wings. It's how certain things are allowed to happen. Yeah, that is kind of a general explanation of, I don't want to say more detailed things about the different worlds just yet, because those things will unfold as the series set in this joint universe unfold. But that is the tapestry, the general kind of cosmic background of that whole joint universe. And I hope that this has been interesting for you. A lot of it just kind of has come over time. The big building blocks, the heralds, came soon after I thought of the idea of the Deathbringer to ride the wind. The series, I had the first idea for that probably my sophomore year of high school, something like that. Different things, different times, and I kind of meld them together to create the Tapestry as it currently stands. And that is with the Sunwolves, that is with the Cycle of Wings, that is with other series to come. Like I mentioned, not every series will be set in this universe. I have a standalone novel, Willowmere, coming out in Q3 this year that will be in this universe, but my Q4 novel coming out is not. It's an urban fantasy set on an alternate Earth. So I'll talk about different things like that as well in future videos, but hopefully you enjoyed this deep dive into my literary universe, the Tapestry, and the world building aspects of the creation of it, the all-powerful beings that inhabit it, and how it trickles down to affect the series that take place within it. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment if you thought this was a good idea for a video. If you thought it was not a good idea for a video, let me know. You can be wrong. That's okay. And yeah, thanks for checking out Ink and Tome. As always, I'll see you next time.